So I was scrolling through my Twitter timeline a little bit ago, and I saw the headline pop up from Wrestle Talk saying, USA Network furious over Raw ratings, want adult content. Now, my first instinctive reaction was, please, we need more adult content in WWE nowadays. That was my first instinctive reaction. But then it really came to my attention, like a matter of seconds later, the reality of the situation when it comes to wanting more adult content in WWE, because as much as we, near enough collectively, want a more adult-themed just product in general, the truth of the matter is that nowadays, WWE, with the amount of agendas they push, and how WWE try and really appeal to families, and how WWE try and please everyone, with how WWE, like that mentality and how they operate, the logistics of them really like pushing towards adult content, that's very, I can't see them doing it, or if they do it, they won't have any success. And that leads me to the other point in this video. When WWE try and go outside the box, when World Wrestling Entertainment, Vince McMahon try to do something different, fresh, more adult themed, be that darker, more violent content, or God forbid, more sexualized content, when WWE do that, the backlash they get, and that's not really a new thing, like that kind of backlash and fan just outrage culture, it's been around since really the Attitude Era, because, I mean, for those of you who are watching in the Attitude Era, cast your minds back. I've done research and found out about all this stuff since, but really back then, the amount of people, particularly left-wing, your SJWs, the snowflakes of sorts, these people wanted WWE cancelled, thrown off television, banned. These people were so against WWE for the stuff they were doing. Granted, 20 years ago, 22 years ago, WWE were doing so much more extreme content than what they'd be doing nowadays. Like, you compare the Raw Underground dances of 2020 to some of the stuff in the Attitude Era, with I choppy your PP, Sable and the handprints, just a bunch of that kind of stuff. So yes, it's a bit different, but really what I'm trying to say here is that these people who have always been against WWE, if they try stuff that's outlandish, try stuff that's adult, these people have always existed. However, due to social media, due to the relevancy, the prevalence of social media nowadays, these people have far more, like much more of a voice than they ever did 22 years ago. Yes, in the Attitude Era, when WWE would try these outrageous adult-like pieces of content, you'd have people, like a lot of people would enjoy it, and that's why the Raw ratings were 5, 6, 7, 8, even upwards of like 9 to 10 million viewers back in the height of the Attitude Era. So that's why, it succeeded back then. Counterculture, this kind of, anti-PC type thing, that really worked back then. But nowadays, especially, considering snowflake culture, considering how people get offended at the smallest of things, just look at Twitch. I know this is a bit of an off-topic example, but it adds to the point. Look at Twitch. Twitch, as of yesterday, completely banned the words simp. I repeat, Twitch banned the word simp. They banned the word incel. Like, this is the culture we're in. We're in a culture where even merely the words simp and incel are getting banned, cancelled, censored off whole platforms. So we're in that culture nowadays, okay? So right away, these people have been given such a voice, these people who are against the adult-like content, these people who, want WWE to be as PC as possible, these people are winning. These people are having their way. This agenda of WWE being PC, Stephanie McMahon pushing these agendas, Triple H playing up these agendas, Vince McMahon, feeling forced to play up to these agendas because Stephanie's his daughter and whatnot. All this kind of stuff. Really, it's becoming amplified more so nowadays. And furthermore, I look at in 2020, the perfect example that proves everything I'm trying to say here. The best example I can think of. Look at Raw Underground. Just take a look at Raw Underground. This happened, well, when did Raw Underground start? Was it August 3rd or August 10th? Sometime in August. WWE introduced Raw Underground. An interesting concept, a a different type of theme for Monday Night Raw. Shane McMahon, you had, the underground kind of fight pit type feel to it. You've got the dancers, which apparently were so offensive that WWE couldn't even do it. The dancers were off TV the next week. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is, for one, the dancers, which I'll talk about more in a minute, and then the theme itself. Raw Underground was unique, it was fresh, it was different. Granted, did WWE execute it well? God no. But was the theme there? Was the idea good? Absolutely. It was more adult themed. It was a bit more legitimate. If I was seen watching Raw Underground with Shane McMahon commentating like a fight pit with two tough looking dudes, I wouldn't be mortified if someone who knows me and doesn't know I watch wrestling walks in and sees that. I wouldn't be as embarrassed. I'd be like, oh yeah, this is like a fight pit type thing. It's all good. It's a bit of fun to watch. That'd be all good. Compare that to some of the stuff we're getting nowadays with WWE. Compare that to if someone who knows I watch wrestling and sees me watching it, compare that to if they see me watching The Miz reading The Nightmare Before TLC or whatever that crappy book was, with John Morrison cosplaying as a Scotsman and AJ Styles reading out of a book, and then Sheamus coming down there and getting angry. Like, you compare the two and it's polar opposites. Raw Underground and what that represented was edgy, it was cool, it was unique, it was adult themed, it had the sexualized content that it gets views, gets interest. Okay, that's what Raw Underground had. And yes, was Raw Underground perfect? No. But to see how Raw Underground was crapped on by fans, how it was censored. Okay, Raw Underground, thanks to Medusa, I think, was it Medusa? I'm pretty sure it was her. How she made the statement about how having the female dancers on Raw Underground was demeaning to women, how it sends the wrong message, how it makes women feel like that's their only place on television. Takes like that are blasphemous. Takes like that are demeaning to women. Not the fact that they have female dancers on the show, okay? That's not what's demeaning to women. It's the fact that comments like those of Medusa take place. Comments like that, comments which imply that women, females, young women, don't have the wherewithal to look at the dancers and go, okay, I'm happy for those women, they're doing something they love, getting promoted and spotlighted on a WWE worldwide global stage. Okay, the fact that Medusa and those comments imply that these young women, these women who are growing up nowadays, can't see that and go, I'm happy for them, that's not the career choice I'd go down, but it's good for them. The fact that she thinks, and the fact that these people who wanted that cancelled believe that WWE putting female dancers on their program, a bit more sexualized content, the fact that they think for some reason that means young women and women nowadays are going to be brainwashed, are going to be completely, like, it's just baffling how this mentality that women can't think for themselves, and the fact that they see this and think that's all women can do. It's like, what? Like, that whole mentality is demeaning to women. Jesus, dear oh dear. It's just this mentality, and it's this mentality that I'm baffled by, which is why pro wrestling can't succeed as far as promoting more adult content. Because as much as they should do more adult content, as much as I'd be a fan of more adult themed content, as much as you should be a fan of more adult themed content, in reality, you can have situations like that, where people like Medusa, like all these people on social media, the snowflake types, get offended, cry out, these things are either sexist, these things are promoting a bad message to kids, these things are terrible. It's just like, you lose the will to even bother with these people. Like, the mentality is just backwards. Instead of allowing people to think for themselves and have their own objective thought process and having like an individual perspective, instead of that, these people who want all this adult themed content cancelled and shut down, these people make it seem like everyone in society is an easily brainwashed sheep who can't think for themselves, can't formulate their own opinions, can't really do anything outside of follow what they see on TV. And it's just like, no. Okay, if Raw Underground and WWE want to have the female dancers, for an example, if they want to do that, all power to them. It's giving the female dancers who are on there a worldwide platform to do something that they'd presumably love doing. Okay, it's not as if they're being slaved into doing this and they're against their will dancing. Like, no, it's just... Ah, dearie me. So yeah, that's Raw Underground. Just in general, to wrap up this video, WWE need to do more adult-themed content. They really do need more adult-themed content, be that dark and violent, maybe even sexualized to an extent. Obviously not like Sable's handprints or anything like that, or the bra and panties matches, but just in general, they need more edgy content because that sells in wrestling. That's what gets ratings. Edgy content is what people care about and want to see. That's what gets views, likes, shares, subscriptions, followers, that type of stuff. Edgy content gets that, so WWE need to do that to get ratings. But on that same note, given the power of cancel culture, snowflakes, outrage culture, SJW shutting down anything that's really fun or popular nowadays, given that and everything going on with that, WWE just can't win. Because those people nowadays, more so than they've ever had before, have the platforms, the voice, the unity as one to really strike and get that shut down. And also because Stephanie McMahon, Triple H are so into these agendas that in reality it wouldn't really go over or fly anyway, because WWE has to meet the Be a Star programs, the Susan G. Komans, all these type of charitable sources and all these kind of things. WWE has to keep a brand reputation for them, so the really edgy adult content doesn't work anyway. So I'm going to wrap the video up there. Hopefully what I'm saying makes sense. WWE just can't win. It's a lose-lose. Either you have adult-themed content and you get complete outrage culture, piss everyone off, and then you lose sponsors and stuff, or you keep playing it so safe with this hard-to-watch, cringe-worthy, awful family entertainment that no one wants to see, that appeals to no one, and your viewership continues to spiral down to a point where in a year from now they'll be getting AEW Dynamite ratings. So that's been the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have, be sure to like, comment, sub. You guys know the drill. See ya.